Hi everybody, welcome back to My Beautiful Autism. Today we're going to be talking about a really heavy topic, meltdowns. Right, so this is one of the most common things when somebody hears about autism. They automatically think meltdowns. They think erratic displays of behavior that are uncontrollable. So let's talk about this. Let's kind of break down a meltdown and talk about it so that everybody understands it. So let's start with part one. What is a meltdown? So a meltdown can be different for different people. For me, a meltdown is when I experience a severe sensory overload to the point where I can no longer control myself. Right, I'm going to break up meltdowns into 4 distinct parts to help you understand it. The first part of a meltdown is the pre-meltdown stage. So this is all the events leading up to the main event that causes a meltdown. So this can be sensory overload, sensory processing issues. This can be loud noises, your hair, that sometimes helps me have a meltdown, hair, clothes that are itching you, anything like that. So the second phase of a meltdown is what we call the event, for me at least, what I call the event. The event is a thing that triggers me to lose control of myself. So the event can be something really simple. It can be a really loud noise all of a sudden. It can be a change of plans. It can be somebody saying something to me, like saying, no, you can't have that. No, you can't do that. That differs from what I expected. It can be being told no, which sounds then like a tantrum, but it's not. That's just a trigger that causes me to lose the capability to control myself. So the third part of a meltdown we'll call the actual meltdown. And this is when I lose full capabilities of everything that I'm doing. So I can no longer control my stimulatory behaviors. I can no longer control my emotions, my body. For me, it usually involves a lot of pain. So it feels like my skin is expanding. Like I can't keep it all held in. It can be very overwhelming, obviously, because it's a sensory overload. I can become self-injurious, so I can bite myself, throw myself around, hit myself, all of the above. And if anybody were to get into my face during this time, my first initial reaction before I would stop would be to push them away, or to get them out of my space, because I need to, my body is looking to gain control again. In a previous video when we talked about things like stimming and stimulatory behaviors, it's all self-regulation, it's all self-control. So when I'm having a meltdown and I'm stimming uncontrollably, it's my body trying to regain control over myself. It's trying to regain. Okay, so then after the meltdown, we have what's called the post-meltdown. So sometimes the transition from this can be really hazy. Sometimes there is no transition and I just go straight into fine. Sometimes I need medication to come down from my meltdown, to allow me to relax myself and relax my body enough to then be in control of it. And I take 7.5 milligrams of diazepam as a intervention, as a chemical intervention to a meltdown. I don't take diazepam with every meltdown, not even close. I'd say once a week I take diazepam, maybe once every other week. It depends on the week. If I was having a really overwhelming week, maybe I would take it twice. But generally speaking, if we can transition me through the stages of a meltdown, I might be able to do that without any medication. But if I'm not transitioning well, the medication is needed to transition me. And a lot of times, the medication transitions me straight to knocked out of sleep. And I just sleep it off. And then I wake up very tired the next day, which is still post. It's the post-meltdown phase. If I'm not medicated, the post-meltdown phase involves what I call compliance. So it involves my partner or whoever's near me. Nobody else really knows. Because obviously I know when my meltdowns are coming, so I put myself in a safe situation, like with my partner. So, compliance. Compliance is my partner asking me to do things that, they're not hard demands, but asking me to do things to help get in control of my body. So my partner will ask me to touch my nose, touch my head. She'll say, raise your hands, put your arms up. anything. It can be simple things. Like I said, I mean, I'm not the one who's initiating the compliance, so it's hard for me to say everything that she may or may not say. But it's compliance. It's about getting my body, getting my brain and my body transitioned back into the state of I can control it, I can do what I want to do. Because that's the thing, when you're having a meltdown, nobody wants to have a meltdown. You don't feel, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like a positive feeling. It doesn't feel like a release. It just feels like terrible loss of control and explosions, and it's not fun. So do I know my meltdown is coming? Yes. I can always feel a meltdown coming. That's something that's allowed me to work a full-time job, and so even though I do have meltdowns, is that I do always feel it coming. I equate it to if you're sick and you're dry heaving, and you constantly feel like you're trying to bring something out that isn't there. So my skin feels like it's expanding, and it just keeps going and going and going until it bursts. So luckily, I'm able to recognize that now and say, this is what I'm feeling. I'm going to have a meltdown, and I can get myself to a safe place. How do I handle it? I did kind of talk about that. It's all about the transitioning in and out of it. So if I know that I'm going to have a meltdown, or if I start feeling those feelings initially, sometimes I can stop it by going to my room. I go to bed a lot. I just go in bed, get under the covers and watch YouTube. Because YouTube is my safety. It just makes me feel happy. So I just go into bed under the covers with the window open, so it's cold, but I've got the pressure of the blankets and the pillows. And my partner will just come and check on me every couple 15 minutes or so. And sometimes that can work. Otherwise, it's all about transitioning myself through the stages. If I can notice and transition myself smoothly, I don't need medicating. So I start, okay, I'm going to have a meltdown. So I handle it by then getting myself to a safe place and then attempting to either stim through it or self-regulate. So if I can sit there and shout for 10 minutes and flap my hands really hard, and that controls the meltdown, then that's great. We've avoided the meltdown. That's perfect. So how do you handle it? So then moving on to when I actually do have the meltdown, I don't handle anything. I can't. I have no control over my body. My partner, she leaves me to it unless I'm self-harming and like biting myself, in which case she tries to intervene as best she can, but I don't want to hurt her. She doesn't want to get hurt, and I'm not in control of what I'm doing. So she tries to stay back as much as she can. She does know things that help me, so encouraging me to stim, encouraging me to maybe put a blanket over my head because that helps block out. She'll shut the lights off, she'll stop noises, and she just makes sure that I'm safe. And then she helps me transition out of it. Sometimes, if I'm going to need medicating, I will verbally shouting help, and she knows that when I get to the point of shouting help over and over again, then she will medicate me. So she gets me a drink and a pill, and she gives me a pill, and then she sits with me, gets me into a safe place because the pill knocks me out. So maybe onto the sofa or into bed, and then she just gives me the pill and she lets it do it, and then she just keeps checking on me until it's over. And then when it's over, I usually, if it's been medicated, I sleep it out. If not, then she just kind of leaves me to it and lets me do whatever I need to do to self-regulate myself. What if it happens in public? I actually have had a meltdown in public. A couple of weeks ago, we went out on Pride night, and the restaurant that I wanted to eat my dessert at was not accepting anybody, and they weren't accepting anybody for like 2 hours, and there was nobody sat in there, so I couldn't understand it and rationalize it. So they weren't accepting, and I had a meltdown outside of the dessert place. I just lost it. There was nothing I could do. I was very overwhelmed because it was Pride, and there were a lot of people, and there were noises, and people were staring, and it was very overwhelming, and I had a meltdown. All you can do, for me, there's nothing I can do. I can try and hold it in until I'm in a safe place, if I can. And if I can't, then there's nothing I can do aside from seek out a safe place. If my partner, if I'm having a meltdown in public, all she can do is tell people, she has autism, she's having a meltdown, it's okay, please just leave her alone, she's safe. She can try and get me to a safe place. She can I don't know, I've never had a really, really bad meltdown in public. Not really bad, not like properly like needing medicating in public. So I'm not really sure, it's hard to say. How does it affect your life? I mean, it affects my life because I'm afraid to go to places because of having a meltdown. I'm afraid to go out with people who don't understand or refuse to accept my autism, because if I have a meltdown, I just feel like I'm going to be told to get over it or to stop acting like a child. I'm afraid that I might hurt somebody with... No, I'm not going to say that. I'm afraid that people might be scared of me and that they might assume that I'm crazy or that they were going to call the police. That I'm afraid of police not understanding and assuming that I'm drunk and disorderly and not being compliant and not understanding how to handle it. It does affect my life. It's a big factor. It is the sole reason why me and my partner don't go out a lot. Because if I have a meltdown in public, I mean, I'm twice the size of my partner. I'm taller, I'm stronger. There's only so much she can do at the end of the day, and if I'm having that meltdown, it's so hard because you can feel it. You can feel people staring at you. You can feel people judging you and saying, "Oh, what is she doing?" And the problem is for me, meltdowns are sensory related, not tantrum related. So I'm not even upset. I can be like, there's this small voice in my head saying, "What are you doing? Please calm down. It's okay. You don't need to be this upset. Stop, stop, stop." And sometimes I verbalize that. Sometimes I will just sit there for 20 minutes and say, "Stop, stop, 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 stop," because that's what I need to do. And it affects me because it is the most stereotypical thing about, maybe not stereotypical, it is the most common thing that people would attribute to my autism, I think, is, do you have meltdowns? And then if they were to see it, that's a lasting impression for people. Don't get over it. People, especially people who aren't understanding and aren't accepting and don't have awareness about autism, they don't get over it. They just judge, and then I feel like I can't be around people. So yeah, it does really affect my life. I really hope that this helped you guys. Guys, this is a hard topic for me. I really hope that this helped you guys. I personally don't think that I will ever feel comfortable showing any footage of me having a meltdown. I don't think it helps anybody. I don't think it helps me. I don't think it raises any awareness because I can tell you what it looks like, and seeing it would just be, it's troubling for some people. It's hard to watch. It's not an easy thing. So I don't think that I will ever actually share any footage of that. But please, the biggest point of me sharing all of this with you guys is to raise awareness. If you see somebody, how many adults do you know would throw an honest-to-God temper tantrum in public? Would actually throw themselves on the ground screaming and pleading and hitting themselves and scratching themselves, like in public when everybody can see and everybody's staring at them? Nobody's gonna do it. It's not, I can't control it. And if you just, even if this helps one person understand and makes difference for one person, then it was worth the uncomfortable factor about delving in and talking about it. But just try and remember that nobody is going to have those behaviors for no reason. Nobody is going to be acting that way in public just to act that way in public because it's not fun. And from somebody who had a little girl take a video of her during a public meltdown, it's awful. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy in the world. So just try and be a little bit more understanding. Anyway, guys, I know this was a super heavy video, so let's lighten it up. Like and subscribe to my channel so we can obviously spread the word and keep spreading some autism awareness. Make sure that you comment down below if you have any questions. Ask me anything you want to ask. I'm an open book, guys, honestly. Barring a few very personal things, I will basically share anything that you guys want to know, especially if it would relate to helping raise some autism awareness. So like my channel, subscribe to my channel, comment down below. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.